line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up.
When you need the best designs in your fleet of vehicles, there's only one brand name that many trust in. One that makes every car pop out from the rest of the field, and that is Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at Lightning Wrapz. Get yourself a vehicle unlike the rest. Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure.
Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh.
And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to PTM Racing TV live at Talladega Super Speedway here with Pushing Limits Racing League and the Gen 6 Cup Series, as we're now set to go for the action at hand. Hi, I'm the Crusader Chris. I'll try to join you guys today here at Talladega, Alabama. We just can't seem to leave this place no matter what we do. So without further ado, let's just get on into it. Let's roll right into the track. On the pole, the number 8, Tyler Ward. It is outside number 42. It's Kevin Benepiece. In order 2, it's going to be Mike Wright out of the 76. Outside is 13, Brian Goldson. Row number 3 is Kevin Baker in the A7 with his piloting the outside is the 111, Gene Watkinson. And row number 4, it's going to be Robert the Rattlesnake Conn, the 21, celebrating a birthday today. That 21 machine is outside, Matthew Hoffer at the 84. Row 5, the Throttle, Chantel Bottle, defending champion right now with 2 race wins at the plate tracks. She wants to get a third today in the 5er outside the 77. Daniel Moynihan looking to recover after the troubles last time out. And row number 5, or excuse me, Stanley Pilot back on row 5. Row 6 then is Daniel Moynihan in 77, excuse me there. Keith Long then pilots up the 71 in row number 6. At row 7, then we will see it piloted down by Dustin Sonaker. Sparky in the 50 is outside Julian Conde in the 18. And your shotgun on the field in the 28, Cody McRae. Alright, fans, we have got our field set to go for the action at hand here, and the drivers are now ready to bring it up. Zach Day comes on board saying, shake and bake, Ricky Baker for the win. And he's saying, really, Baker placed it, it's a miracle. Let's do some apple turnovers, my guy. Well, I'm glad somebody caught on to my little joke I gave old Baker down there. We gave him the nickname, the Baker, the head chef, or the baker of the kitchen, because he likes to serve some apple turnovers here and there to drive around these guys. We'll see if maybe he can serve up some sweets for these packs here. As our field of drivers get ready to go to the green flag, we'll bring them down the front straightaway here from corner number 4, down to the tri-oval, and then off into the sunset. Talladega is on their feet. They're ready to see the old Gen 6s put to the challenge at hand. The task is set. Your field ready to rumble. And if I didn't know any better, I would have confused them a little bit for the ARCA Series cars I saw that was Speedway lap just a couple of weeks ago. But at the green flag we fly, we're underway. Saw them, and then also saw at Knoxville Raceway just recently the Truck Series race, which, by the way, to those that are haters of the Truck Series, the dirt, I challenge you now to watch that race with actually being a person and telling me that wasn't one of the best darn dirt races we've had in a long, long time when it comes to NASCAR stuff. Unfortunately, the broadcast did not do it any justice. Looking at you, Fox Sports. Thank you very much. Anyway, besides that little rant, I'm going to get out of that real quick here. Out of the gate, the Chantel Bottle. She's not making any friends up there, is she? She's putting that 6 Sigma Premier Racing Setups machine right up into the fight as we got a caution flag already. Matthew Hofford has wrecked it in the 84. We didn't even get one full lap in here, and then we all of a sudden had something go wrong. Is this a truck race in Knoxville again? Let's take a look at the PTM Instant Replay. Presented by Premier Racing Setups, here is your PTM Instant Replay here. Let's take a look at this one. Came out of the gate. And, well, to be honest with you, Matthew Hoffer kind of just got on his own trouble there. The 84 smashing the wall on his own, I believe. Didn't look like he had any help, so one more look at it from another angle. He had a good draft. There's plenty of room there. Yeah, I'm not really seeing where exactly he kind of got loose at, but either way, he has to go get into pit road, and he's got to serve an EOL for causing that caution to come out. Well, drivers will now have to get settled back down and get settled back into position here as we continue on with this race. So the field will have to revert, re-strengthen, and themselves find speeds back up on the track here as we are just already getting started on this race. Drivers already in the pit road. Chantal Bottle, Robert Kahn, who just putted in the 88, which he's supposed to be driving the 21, but he just can't seem to figure out a way to not put a custom number on these things every time I see him. Dustin Sonaker entered in, Keith Long, Stanley Powell, Julian Conde as well in there, and it looks like Sonaker, what is he doing? I think he's trying to pit it in his box, and I'm not even sure what's going on, but it looks like he got it now, but that definitely took him a minute or two to figure that out. Stanley Pottle also in there with him. Maybe trying to get as much fuel as he can here before he gets back going. There he goes. He'll refire it. Dustin Sonaker still in. Yeah, there he goes. He'll get it fired up. They'll make it back to the back straightaway here in time, but we're going to get 1 lap to go this next time on by. Race fans, if this is your first time here on PTM Racing TV, we can guarantee you that we have seen multiple series, multiple races, and multiple runs coming out onto the track and coming out into the playing field here multiple times. And today, we've got more coming on hand and more ready to bring it out on the track. A lot at stake and a lot to really go after here when you got these Gen 6s, because these things are literally a complete 180 when it comes to controlling the momentum and controlling the distance. It is extremely tough on the track because of the fact that they have to kind of push and shove just to get any kind of run here after they get the initial start out of the way, which can make things more difficult as they go. And that will definitely make it for an interesting little battle and grab hold of. We'll have to see if these drivers can hang on to that and get this going right back onto the field as we're now set back into position. Field now set up, ready to go back here on PTM Racing TV. We're set on for the action, set on for the track. Field of drivers ready. Ready and set now for the race at hand. Back to that green flag high in the air, and we're back underway. I think honestly that may have also turned a few drivers from going up too close to that outside wall without trying to hold on to a line up there. It's a very loose car, it seems, and I'm kind of surprised already how looser it is compared to what it was in years past. Kevin Baker in the 87 now, moving up the chains. He's got the number 5 Shinko Huddle behind. C77 Daniel Moynihan right on the right side of your screen as you've got movement coming from the back. Three wide salute. Ooh, getting a little close there, my friends. Dustin Sonaker getting a little bit of a workaround there from the 88 at Racon as he's supposed to be on the 21. Ryan Colton, the number 13, Snap-on Tools machine though. Getting a nice little drive off on the track, getting a nice little boost of speed as he gets right behind the 77-year-old Moynihan. Tyler Ork now the 8 up top side, looking to take minute pace down to the 42, Mobile One Ford Mustang. Minute pace, been a bit of a handful here, a bit of a head scratcher when it comes to his racing deals. He does have a bit of a fan base down on the track and on the comment section, of course, as always. But for him, he's been a bit of an odds maker. He's had good races, he's had some bad races, and he does have a race win. He was actually the first winner on the pushing limit side of things this season. Came away with that, was able to really hold strong and maintain the balance. But ever since then, has been kind of thrown around all over the place in terms of position and where he strives to conquer for. Jacob Gibbons says, looks like an FOV issue. He thought the car was closer. Yeah, Jacob, it definitely seemed like it here with the 84 Matthew Hoffert earlier on. But that just kind of shows you how tough it is to make sure you got not only the POV, the field of vision, and the everything you got on your track and on your car when it comes to racing. That's how important iRacing can be when it comes to setting the tone and setting your positions up. And you got a good look at it earlier as the field has now kind of come back from that. And there they're starting to focus in on the lap counter with 45 laps they must complete. On down to the front straightaway though, it is the 5 Shinto Bottle and Robert Kahn back at it one more time. The Throttle and the Rattlesnake looking to do their own dirty bidding yet again with that bumper in the back and a bumper in the front. One driving hard, one getting pushed around. Kahn knows how to use the 5's bumper to set himself up as well. And Moynihan knows this all too much as well. Look at him block that run on the 5 of Pottle. Trying to defend him off here as Kahn's trying to push and shove, but that Gen 6 car has not an easy challenge to push 3 cars. It's hard enough just doing one, and Pottle knew it, so she goes the outside, driving it hard off, looking to go triplicate. She's going to try and sneak around the 77, can't get it. Needs a bit of a push from the 5. The 88 now getting a good run off here. Kevin Baker watching from down low. Daniel Moynihan going back to the bottom, has to try to swing it with Baker. He apple turnovers it back to the bottom. The rest of your field right now looking in, keeping a close proximity of the field as we go with the onboard camera here. Brian Colton in the 13. Exact day, I may ask Baker later on about that. We'll see, but right now I think we got a little bit too much going on the race. All drivers right now managing and marching to the tune of their own beat here, side by side through the corners and onto the runs. Now we've seen some very clean races here at Talladega as of late from the Xfinity Series of the Super Money Race, putting on an impressive display of pit strategy and power pushing ahead. You know, for those who always say Talladega and Daytona is just nothing but an old-fashioned demolition derby going at over speeds of 200 miles per hour. Well, you could say that, but really, if you look deeper into it, it's actually a lot more different than that. It's a test of patience, skill, and control, and having to know your place and know your mark in order to become the best driver of the field. Matthew Hoffer in the 84 right now trying to do that. It'll also deal with company on his inside of Heath Long now. The number 71 machine coming right down to the bottom, gets a good jump up ahead, taking full control. And again, you're not going to see a lot of passing out of the gate. You're going to see a lot more pushing and shoving than anything. Mike Rideout actually getting pushed up to the front, take the race lead away. Has still that 88 and that 5 just will not let go of each other here. I still haven't been able to figure out any other driver that can actually do what Con and Bottle do on a constant basis on these super speedways. You may as well call them the DEI of the racing end when it comes to this style of racing. This bump draft, pushing and shoving, draft train, man, they just somehow can make it better than any other series of drivers and couple I have seen on the track. It is a challenge and a half, and these drivers know they cannot let that overtake them or overbeat them. Daniel Moy in the 77 sees the opportunity. He'll work it right behind Con and Bottle. Maybe letting them to go down the bottom so he can steal the outside line. That might be what he's after. And I think he's going to get his wish. Bottle and Con straight to the bottom. Both drivers ahead. Might call them the Earnhardt and might call them the Earnhardt Jr. in the wall trip of this field here. My lord. Went from Daytona to Talladega. We're definitely in Earnhardt country. I don't think there's any question on that, but I didn't realize that we still had that old saying and that old racing style back into this track still. Tyler working the 8, watching on as he sees everybody behind shifting and shuffling around, trying to stay under control. You see just how difficult though this car is to hold on to. Power and speed is certainly put at a distant max and at a tough pace, but just trying to control the emphasis and trying to control this track is easier said than done. 3 wide, saloon down on the front straightaway here, entering in turn number 1. Dustin Soldenko 50 up on the outside line at 77, and Daniel Moynihan. As the 71 Keith Long now moves it from the bottom, and Julian Conde following from behind. US Army Brad number gamer 18, Julian Conde. Last time out having a little bit of a situation where he almost ended up costing himself and some other drivers a bit of a chance at putting this thing into the final legs of the race. A little swerve around, a little bit of tough time kind of hanging on to the bottom and the middle, but today it seems as though he's trying to now kind of work the field, kind of work from the outhouse, get to the White House. That was his strategy. He told me earlier he didn't want to lose too much sight of or too much momentum on, as Watkinson, Pottle, and McRae kind of surprisingly far back behind the pack here and far back behind the field. I'm kind of surprised right now. You wouldn't think they'd be up there in that line or in that area, but yet there they are. They're way back around. And look out from the heavens above. We've got a flyer coming up from the top. Evan Menepace, the Mobile 142. He's got some help from the back. He's got some speed. Burrowing up, looking to take control. He hasn't been to victory lane since that win at Daytona in the Truck Series. He'd love nothing more than to change that today. But again, can he find a leg up and can he find the control? Again, driving from Xfinity to truck to a cup is a whole different story when it comes to this kind of racing style, especially when you got a car that is more downforce based and more push based. When it's even more difficult just to try to push these things as much as you can anyway. Up on the top side now, all drivers moving into position here. They'll have to set up for a pit stop here, I believe, here in about 10-15 laps or so. I know the fuel limits on these things, not very much. You could probably bolster out about 20 laps of fuel, which kind of almost forces you to have to go into pit road twice in this entire race. We've already seen Chantel Pano, Robert Kahn, and Mike Reddat have to go into pit road earlier, and they've kind of used that to their advantage here and used that to their strategy. Or, excuse me, Reddat did not go into pit road. Sorry about that. That was Pano, Kahn, Long, Conde, then Hofford, Sonaker, and then Stanley Pottle and Cody McRae. They all entered into pit road earlier on, but since then, been just kind of steady as they go, kind of letting it off from there. You want to see how difficult it is right now, too, just to be able to put in the spot. Take a look at this onboard camera here, Robert Kahn. This is the camera angle right now. He is seeing what he is dealing with by simply being right behind Chantel Palo on that 5. Having to come push to shove and push to run, not giving her any room, not giving her any chances to make a mistake. But again, he has to do that, and so does she, needing him to do that. He keeps speeds at a distance pace and actually at a level that's actually able to keep these guys behind him. Kind of a catch-22 if you ask me, but more than anything, as long as you're able to hold on to it, that's all that matters. By the way, race fans, here, something to note of here. If you guys have been enjoying some of our Friday night action, Friday night coverage this year with the Super Money races, and maybe you want to get yourself into one, but you're not sure if you want to do dirt or asphalt, well, I have a conclusion for you guys. Coming up this Friday night, we will have ourselves another trip down into the land of the dirt. Yeah, the boys and the girls love the dirt so much, they want to come back. How about we give them one? We're going to go back to the dirt, and we're heading to Eldora for this one, so you'll see that coming up here on Friday night. Entering into pit road now, cleaner pit stop here for most of our drivers compared to previous times here. Tyler Work right out, minute pace, Boynan all entering in a clean fashion. Bottle Con, Sonaker staying out though, and this is exactly the same strategy you saw Matthew Hofford use actually at Irish Super Speedway with the same car and come out on top. Hofford, though, not in the same boat this time around this race here. He is in a bit of a tough spot because of that little situation he put himself on earlier. And again, a lot of like buttons, a lot of likes here on our little comment from that there. So, all right, if you guys do want to join the dirt race, no worries. Just feel free to go down into our little page here. We have the Discord already set up and ready to go. Go on there. like you can race and sign up and all that, and once you're set up and everything, they will get you guys on to the track come Friday night. We hope to see you there. Well, Pato and Con, I guarantee you this next lap are going into pit road one way or another. I don't think they're going to have enough, though, for a full 25-lap stint. Now, granted, they could be trying to outsmart these boys by going longer, but the problem is they're not going to have enough time to really get that going here. Gene Watkinson, the number 111 here with the Brian Colton in the 13, right behind him. Entered into pit road just a little while ago. Stanley Puddle has to head into pit road, as you can see. Maybe not quite getting the best spot in the pit road. Finds himself in the grassy plains of Alabama, and unfortunately, Stanley, we just mowed the lawn this morning. I think you kind of made a mess of our spot there. We cleaned it this morning. That's okay. We'll get it fixed up later on. But Pato and Con have entered into pit road now. Daniel Moynihan will move into the race lead as long as Pato and Con can't get out of pit road in time, or will he? Because now Mike Rideout sneak his way back in. Brian Colton. Not really sure what Colton's trying to do here. He's kind of swerving all over the place, working with Watkinson and also maybe trying to keep Moynihan behind him, but I guarantee him Moynihan and Rideout don't want anything to do with that nonsense. Colton will be put a lap down. Or will he? He's still putting up a fight here, and this is not good for the 77 and the 76. Because what that's going to do is going to let these two right here have a little bit more time to catch their breath, catch their speeds. And remember, they have a lap or two more on the fuel length, so that means that's going to make things even more challenging for these drivers. Five in the 88 right now, trying to keep ahead of this field. You can see the gap already by about a full turn. Actually, it is a full 2 turns. That's a quarter of the track, and a 2.6 mile long track like Talladega, that's a lot of ground to have to recover from. Rideout and Moynihan are gonna need some help. Here comes the cavalry though, the 42, Kevin Miniface, Keith Long, and the 18, Julian Conde working together, moving the chains. Miniface desperately needs to start building momentum back up in his Pushing Limits campaign. Granted, this is more of a fun race ordeal, kind of a fun time to have for these drivers as they just have a little bit of a Lady Luck draw, roll their dice and see what happens kind of racing mentality. But it is a challenge and a half here for anyone involved that tries to come through and try to push their luck with these kind of races. Keith Long back down on the bottom, Julian Conde right behind, and Moynihan will follow in suit. Now the Talladega Daytona draft train is in full gear. Choo choo! Metapace and Long chugging along right now. They're looking to try to get up there too. The Con and Pottle clan right now here. Take a look at this one right here. As you see these two drivers, they're being caught up by the ever so the tenths of the second. You can see earlier though that was not the case. Now has a chance. But will they be able to hang on long enough? With 22 laps to go coming to that stripe here, this is starting to look more and more like the fuel run could be the most efficient way. And right now, Pato and Con, they have a longer set on that end, so that means they don't have to come in as quickly or as much, but I think it'll definitely be a bit of a challenge in its own right. Also, race fans, just got word from our folks down on the news sites and on the news flashes. You want to talk about some crazy moments? Well, guess what? We got some for you. We have a little deal there from the Truck Series, actually. The Camping World Truck Series have just said that the number 30 truck will actually be piloted by not a driver you would expect, but from a monster truck driver. The Monster Jam's Bakugan driver Camden Murphy will actually be joining us come on the Friday night time with Nashville Super Speedway. As a monster truck fan and a monster truck driving fan as well, I will say Camden, good guy in his own right. Cannot wait to see what he pops up with there on the track. Best of luck to him at Nashville Super Speedway. So that's a bit of a wild news there, folks. We've had Gravedigger pop up there. in a number 4 Kevin Harvick scheme, and now we get an actual monster truck driver running in that series. How about that? I wonder how long before we can finally get an actual monster truck driver on our show here. Not saying we'd ever do any monster truck shows on this channel here. Wink, wink. I'm just kidding. I don't think we ever would get the chance. It had to be like some kind of, it had to be something with Beam and G here on the show, and then we'd have to like figure out how to set that all up, which, good luck. So, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a possibility, but I mean, I would love to do it one day. PTM Racing TV could definitely use all the diversity we can get. That's why I always tell fans and drivers alike, if you want to see a certain race or something broadcasted, let us know, and we'll try to see if there is someone out there that may be able to give you just that. There's honestly a lot of series we haven't even broadcast on this show yet that we've been wanting to get off the list, from all the road course cars to the dirt cars. We're still missing the wingless sprint cars. We're still missing the big block / small block modifieds. And that's actually all the cars we're missing on the dirt, and we have never broadcasted on the show. The asphalt oval wise, I believe we've hit everything except for the open wheel ones of the Silver Crowns, the asphalt sprint car, and I believe that actually is the last ones we're remaining on the show we haven't got into yet. Unless I'm completely wrong and I'm losing my mind down here. So, would love to see them one day and see what they can put on the show. I've seen some of the races and I've seen some of their times, but it'd be kind of interesting to see what they can pop up on the show here. But anyway, all in due time and all for another time and a half here, hopefully on PTM Racing TV. Well, munching down here, about 6 seconds behind still. Kevin Benepace is trying desperately to find any kind of extra speed, every little push, but here's the thing. This two right here, just because the fact they're out of that bubble draft and they're out of the line for the other drivers, they can pretty much push and shove all they want. But you know, it's kind of funny. You see how straight and squared up that Ford Mustang number 5 is. The aero slope downforce of that car is about as clear coated as it gets. It has so much more speed to it. While the one behind her in the 88, that Chevrolet has more of a rounded edge to it. And trying to push the back bumper, I'm kind of surprised here. The Khan's actually able to hold on as much as they are able to. That rounded out shape there of the 88 is a handful and a half just to even try and do. And it's something to say the least here that he's even able to push her, much less be able to keep them online as well as they have. And again, Bottle is the one that's having to take the push and take the shove. Everyone else, though, well, they're pretty much just kind of having to watch out for just each other and not wreck each other coming down through these corners. Yeah, down the front straightaway, though, it is still anybody's race, anybody's game plan here, as we still have not for sure determined the exact number on the lap counter when it comes to the pit strategy. Well, I think it's time we change that up here now. Here is our pit stop stint length. And ain't this something? We're looking at right about now 10-ish laps right now with Benepace down to Baker, but Bottle and Khan only about 8 or 9, about 8 laps actually. 9 coming straight to the line here as you see them being closed off and the gap's starting to shrink just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough time though to catch up to them before they have to enter into pit road again, considering the amount of time and stint length they've had to do just to get here. And even then, look at the amount of laps we have left and then mark that down on your pit stop length. This is honestly going to be a tough little deal. Bottle and Khan, they only got to worry about themselves going into pit road, while the other ones behind them, they're going to have to figure out how to get a perfect pit stop in and avoid trouble. Stanley Bottle has put the 48 to a dead stop here and is going to put it into pit road. So a tough break for that 48. Looked like, unfortunately, that pit stop he made earlier in the race cost him dearly and cost him precious time. That is a darn shame there, unfortunately, but we know he'll be back out here. He has had a top 5 here on PTM Racing TV before. Wouldn't surprise me eventually if we see him in victory lane on one of these tracks. Also, race fans, you may have never heard me say this a bunch of times already and kind of said this a few times, but Yes, you will hear a little fan in the background. Do keep in mind, though, that is because right now it is scorching hot where I'm at in the studio. Watching on from all ends of the track, all ends of the race, especially here at Talladega. It's way, way too hot, to say the least here. So right now, I'm just kind of trying to breathe in and breathe out and hope for some cool air and something here eventually. But the heat is so intense here in Alabama, man. I'm telling you, barely breathe here. I'm barely having a hard time kind of keeping up with these guys. Some of these cars are getting upwards of speeds of 198 miles per hour. Their top speeds. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. 205, 206, 200. My word, they are blistering down there. Even those next gens, they struggle a little bit to kind of keep up with that speed, if you can believe that much. But a lot of that, in my opinion, just has to do with the fact that they've got a little bit of a looser setup to deal with than these Gen 6s, if you can believe that much. Yeah, they have a little bit more of a bubble when it comes to getting into that draft zone, but as for everything else, it's a bit more of a challenge. Offert, Watkinson, and looks like Offert working with Sonaker here. We didn't forget all about them here. Brian Colton entering into pit road here in the number 13, so he'll have to fall back more laps lost, unfortunately for him. Coming right up there, I think actually that's Cody McRae that they got up to there. That's where Gene Watkinson is. So Cody McRae, excuse me, having kind of a similar paint scheme there, but that's the 28 Howling machine. Signed up kind of very familiar to an old friend, Alabama. Maybe you guys might have heard of him, of the Allisons, Davey Allison to be precise. Driver long missed and not long ever to be forgotten. We sure do miss you, Davey. Davey, of course, part of the Alabama gang there, one of the young men there that became kind of Alabama's really big four drivers. Their big company, you know. We always say about the four horsemen in pro wrestling. Well, he was one of them. Looks like, speaking of one of them, wait a minute, where the heck is Robert Kahn? What the heck has happened to Robert Kahn? The 88 has left Chantel Bottle in the 5. Something has gone wrong. Bottle is left all alone, but what the heck happened to Robert Kahn here? Hold on just a minute, folks. Look at this here. The 5's left all alone. She's gonna have to defend for herself. But this is what happened to Kahn. Oh my goodness. Well, we talk about sheer speeds, we talk about sheer momentum, but I never would have thought that 88 would have done what he just did there. The motor has blown, and Kahn is gonna be in a very, very tight little spot to try to get back into this race. As for the 5 Chantel Bottle, the good news is for her is that field behind her is going to have to get around her, and she can still actually outsmart them a little bit by just simply staying right where she's at and forcing them to go up topside and have to work around her. We'll see what she does here. Either way, she can catch the draft one way or another. She just needs to stay inside that bubble. As the rest of the field will have to enter into pit road, she'll have to make her decision to either enter in with them or stay out just a little longer. Either way, here they come on the outside, minute pace for the lead. What a turn of events here on PTM Racing TV, and really a lot of that has to do with just being all on their own. Kahn was pushing the living daylights out of everything. That had to do with that 5 and the Six Sigma Sim Racing Premier Racing Setups machine. Whoa, 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 hold on. Well, that got a little wild. Nearly wrecked out right there. Mike Rideout was trying to make a pass to get into pit road. Nearly cost himself dearly. Keith Long almost sending him into the outhouse with Kevin Baker. Stays out of trouble. Tyler Orrick in the 8 and the 5. Chantel Bottle will stay out. And Orrick is not giving Bottle any time to catch him. If I was Orrick right now, I'd slow up maybe one spot here and just give maybe one little second or two and give Bottle some time to catch him. Get a draft buddy going. Get some help. You're going to need it when you get to those pit roads because those boys are going to be set in motion. And here they come now. We've got 10 laps to go and a full tank enough to finish this one out. Dan Moynihan right now currently is up ahead of the field with Condé and Minipace looking to get into the draft and set up for this one. Tyler Orrick and Shendel Pottle entering into pit road. Solid pits entry. No speeding penalties there. Moynihan out on the track. Dustin Sonaker left in the middle. Will have to go into pit road with Hoffer and the rest of the field trying to hang on. But Daniel Moynihan in the 77 is going to overtake here, coming down off of turn number 3, going into turn 4, looking for position. It's all fuel and go now, race fans, and the chaos just does not seem to end here. And we wouldn't have it any other way. The final positions now bracketed up. 10 laps to go. We'll put the final 5 up when we get to the final 5 laps to go. Orrick in the 8, getting out of pit road. Pottle follows behind. But Dan Moynihan, the 77, is already entering into the front stretch to turn 1 and 2. Passing the 2 drivers. Losing Khan may have been the biggest issue for the 5. Now she has to work with Orrick and needs help from Rideout. They'll come on down to the back straightaway. Lining position up. Orrick, Pottle, and Rideout need to get together and get the draft so they may have a chance to catch up to the 3 ahead. You've got 2 groups now just flip-flopping and figuring this one out right on the show. Hey, Mike Rideout doesn't seem to want nothing to do with them. What is he doing? He's trying to pass those 2 up front. I think he was trying to get ahead so he gets more speed. Didn't realize that once you lose that draft, these things are pretty much like a dump truck. Eight laps to go. Right now, Moynihan, Conde, Menapace are the 2 front runners here. Let's take a look at our lap times here. And Tyler Orrick and Menapace separated out by a good margin. That was a 7-second gap difference. No traveler gained. Orrick and Pottle now have to work together. Will Pottle start to push hard, and will she start to give everything she's got to that Can-Am 8 of Orrick? Orrick needs help, and he needs a little bit of it. The boys up front not pushing right now. I'm kind of surprised. They're a little bit closer together, but they're not trying to drive in as much. I think they're trying to avoid trouble and trying to avoid any sufficiencies here. Now let's take a look at our lap times again. There is the difference. 0.5 of a second gap gain. Menapace knows Orrick is coming. Down about 1 second and 8/10 here. This is not looking good for your 3 Musketeers up front. The drivers in the back coming up for them. He's got this thing lined up. Just needs the push or 2 from the one behind him. Earlier, it was the 5 that was getting pushed. Now it's time for her to make her move. 7 laps remain. It'll turn to 6 to go. There is time. But is there enough momentum left in these cars? Will the front pack actually start to push and shove? That's the thing. They are not pushing. They are not trying to shove each other up enough. They're not giving themselves any more momentum. I wonder, did they not take enough fuel? Thinking maybe that if they get out of pit road quicker, it would be a good enough chance they can actually hang on. Are they trying to supply the limits here? Are they trying to hang on? Brian Colton coming off pit road, backs up topside here. I think the boys up front were kind of hoping that he would stay there so they may be able to get a draft with him and get 4 cars for 1, but he is off pace by a good margin. Moynihan now moving back up topside. Man, you couldn't have asked for a more crazy race here from these Pushing Limit Racing League drivers, to say the least. The gap now only a full second. Colton giving Orrick and Pottle and Rideout plenty of room to get up there. Final 5 laps remain. Top 5 on your screen. This is what Rideout's seeing right now, and as a driver, I know what he's thinking. He's just thinking, boys and girls, can we just get this thing going? We are so close. Get the push, get the draft, get the shove. Let's get it going here. We're so on it. You feel the intensity, the momentum, the heart racing, the heart pounding action. It's coming close and it's coming quick. You just know it's there and you want everything of it. He's trying to hold on. Colton, though, kind of on that apron, needs to get out of there. Rideout is trapped. He can't get around Colton. What is Colton doing? He's blocking the bottom, and he can't let Rideout get to the top. Now Watkinson having to go back down in. Conde kind of giving a push there as they run him right back in. We've got only 4 to go. Conde looking to the outside, didn't find it there. Menapace right behind him. Oric and Pottle have caught up, right out, back in it. Thanks to the help of Watkinson to give him a little extra kick there in the draft. This is what we call a good old-fashioned slobber knocker, drag out, drag race at Talladega's biggest of all. The track that stays dormant as the biggest track of all North America and the world for its matter. 2.66 miles in length. It is an absolute animal of infrastructure, and it is a beauty to the naked eye. And right now we are looking on as we're just a matter of 3 to go to crown a winner. It's Talladega again. No one giving an inch yet. No one making a mistake. Staying close to the heart. Staying close on the shot. Can anybody find the extra little kick around? Can anyone find that extra little bit of boost of momentum? Robert Kahn is back out there. Will Kahn help the 5? The 5 looks like she's gonna have him do it. Can Kahn get the draft? That might have been a mistake. I don't know. That was a good move there, Chantel. Pottle may have made a mistake going there. Kahn is gonna have to try to play catch up. There is only 2 laps remaining coming to the line. With 2 to go now, this is going to be an all-out push-out if they can get it going. Bottle sees her mistake. She had to go back to the pack with Wright out there. Looking maybe to get Kahn. I think Kahn might actually have a chance here. Oh, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Here we go. There comes the push again. Last time they did this, though, Kahn blew the motor. Can Pottle get enough of a run? Gets a huge hit in the back. Big pump into the run. And Menapace sees it coming too. He goes with him. Conde tries to drive it up. Menapace is going to block them both. Blocks them both. Sets them up 3 wide on the outside. Menapace couldn't stop her. Kahn is backed into a corner though. Moynihan has the race lead. Now down to the wire. We've got 1 lap to go. White flag in the air. This is now the ultimate drag race. Who gets the opportunity? Who makes the mistake? Which driver will throw the block? Or which one will go for the run? Moynihan, if I was you, I'd just stay at the bottom and hope for the best, buddy. Conde right now trying to deliver, and he goes the outside again, throwing Kahn into the wall. Kahn goes into the wall. Conde back to the corner. Pottle left all low with Daniel Moynihan on the outside. It's another drag race to the end. They're dead even on the outside in turn 3 and 4. Pottle trying to get the draft. Conde mixes it up. They'll fire him down the front straight away. Conde with 1 more push up to the front. Pottle trying to hang in there. Little bump on the 77. And Moynihan gets swept up again to the finish line. Chantel got him. Chantel got him. The bump and run off a turn number 4 to the front straightaway gives Chantel Pottle the race win. Are you kidding me? Wow. That, right, friends, is what you call absolute insanity. Blown motors, blown hearts, and a few broken pieces of equipment right now. And yet somehow, some way, Chantel Pottle not only gets 3 in a row as super speedways, but she joins an elite field of drivers that have only been able to get in with back-to-back super speedway wins. She now also collects her very first Cup Series Gen 6 victory on PTM Racing TV. She has now won, and count this, street stocks, late models, super late models, trucks, Xfinity, and now Cup Series, the trifecta of the 5. Unbelievable. That, my friends, honestly, I'll put this one down into the Talladega calls as one of my best calls I think we made in quite some time. Absolutely fun, chaotic, excitement all around here on PTM Racing TV, as currently our producers may need to remind themselves I just said it was a good call. I didn't say we needed to mess it up now. For Daniel Moynihan, though, I've got a feeling he's going to be looking at the tape for this one for quite a while, thinking what could have been. He'll get his race win eventually. We know it too well. He's too talented not to. But here's the results. Look at this. 64 thousandth of a second separates these two to the line. And Chantel just barely ekes it out. Julian Condé will take third. Top three for him. I think is only his second podium he's ever had on PTM Racing TV. Mike Rideout goes fourth. Kevin Menapace, give him credit where credit's due. Made it work and made it broke. For all he's got, gets fifth. Sixth, Tyler Ork. 7-2, Kevin Baker. 8-2, Dustin Stoneacre. Keith Long goes ninth. And Matthew Hoffer, despite his troubles, goes 10th to at least get a top 10 to round out his day. I'm out of breath just calling this one, guys. I don't even know what else to say. I guess there's only one thing left to do. Let's just get him in. Top three, join me in now, race fans. Third place finisher today from Deltona, Florida. Julian Condé in the 18 will bring it in third place here in Alabama. And Julian, I know you had a bit of a trip down here, but boy, you sure had a trip having to fight it out with 77 and a 5 to the line there, my friend.
Yeah, it was, I'll tell you what, it was a really good, interesting race. We were trying to keep it together and, keep a strategy going. And, here I was trying to push the 77 to the win, but it didn't happen that way. Hey, 1, 2, 3 finish. I don't think that's a bad day.
Not a bad day at all here. I know there was a lot of pushing and shoving there coming to the line, coming to the end, and that was absolutely crazy to say the least here. And certainly a bit of a top end race there between you and the crew. How did it feel in these Gen 6 compared to the other cars you've had to deal with?
Well, believe it or not, I was kind of disappointed. I expected a little bit more speed out of the Gen 6 cars, but and drafting was a little way different than normal. But we try to keep the same strategy. And I saw Puddles and Con coming, and I already knew what was going to happen. So I try to make a difference. And yeah, good race. And I'll tell you what, my heart's pounding, but it was pretty good. It was really interesting. At least got Daniel in second place. I got myself a third, and congrats to Puddles.
Anybody want to thank for this one?
Yeah, I want to thank the sponsors, and I want to thank you for everything that you do. Great broadcasts, and obviously your sponsors and the race gang. We kept it together, and we'll get it going for the next race.
For sure there. All right, third place finish here today here. Congratulations on that, and catch you next time out, Julian.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Julian Condé coming away here with another third place finish, a podium again here. And speaking of podiums, Moynihan, man, I know I've messed up your name before, and I'm finally glad I'm getting it right, but this track just does not seem to get it right when it comes to giving you that chance and opportunity. Obviously, you've come so close so many times. The race win's coming, as we've said here plenty of times, and it will happen, but I got to believe this one's a bit of a heartbreaker again, coming straight to the line there off of turn 4.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was really looking to get my my redemption here tonight from a couple of weeks ago when Warren Young beat me out by 9/1000ths of a second. But we had a close finish there. Man, a great race overall. I couldn't do it without Mr. Condé, P3. He pushed a hell of a lot there.
He certainly did indeed. Now, I know there was a lot really at stake, and there was really a lot playing out on the track for you and this crew. But, I mean, if I had to presume anything and have to take a guess at anything here, I would see that really it all just kind of boils down to one thing, and that's just kind of hanging on to a certain line, certain angle, and then making sure this car just stays as straight as possible to get the speed there. You did get a little tag there from the 5. Did that kind of get the car upset at all?
It did a little bit. That little tag in the right rear kind of unsettled the car, and Julian was right behind me. He kind of gave me a tap in the rear, and that was at that point. That was it. That was the race.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, obviously a remarkable performance again here at Talladega. The win coming sooner rather than later, I bet you, Dan. I got to ask you, my friend, who do you want to thank for this?
Oh, man. I want to thank all the sponsors that sponsor the league. Big shout out to Pottles and you, Chris, for putting on the broadcast. Killing it every night, multiple times a week. Yeah, again, shout out to the sponsors, and hope to get them. Hope to get a P1 next week.
For sure hope so there, Moynihan. It's coming eventually, we know, man. But nevertheless, congratulations on the podium here in second. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Chris.
Daniel Moynihan there, you can hear the heart in his emotions there. Definitely eked up a few, but someone knows exactly where he's been and what it feels like. She's not in there anymore. Literally the definition of bumping and rubbing and racing straight to the end of the line. Chantel Pottle pops the win here at Alabama. It's Talladega. Chantel, literally a couple months ago, we see you pretty much put into the struggle bus, into bad territory and bad spot constantly. Now all of a sudden, this 5-car or truck, or even whatever it is, from a late model to super late to Xfinity truck, and then, as we mentioned, just cannot seem to be stopped. Where is this coming from now?
I don't know. I'm starting to like these super speedways. They're pretty fun.
We could probably guess that a little bit. Is it just something with these super speedways and the speeds and control that just kind of works with you and even Con a little bit there when it just comes to racing on this track? Or what is it for you guys?
Well, we've been racing since 2016 together, so I guess we're kind of used to pushing and stuff, so I guess that helps out a bit.
Yes, it does indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, here at Talladega, with the absolute definition of bumping and beating fenders to the line, a win for you and the crew. Pottle, this is 3 in a row. Who do you want to thank for it?
Everyone at PTM Racing TV and all of our sponsors that we have for Pushing Limits Racing League.
Good share there, Chantel. What a race win and a victory for you and your crew. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Chantel Pottle, ladies and gentlemen, pops away with the victory. And I forgot to even mention all our friends here. Our friends at Premier Racing Setups, again, the best setups around. You get them on their shop at PremierRaceSetups.com. Be sure to check them out. All the latest in iRacing weeks and officials. You can get them there and certainly race out the best drivers with this stuff. PremierRaceSetups.com. Only the best drive these. Six Sigma Sim Racing, some of the best absolute hardware and equipment for cockpits and sim racing you can get around. Be sure to check them out at Six Sigma Sim Racing. A big thank you to them as well. The Racing Group podcast all over North America, the racing news, sim racing apps, and even talks from all highest end divisions and levels of racing and motorsports history. The Racing Group has it all. And Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure. Some of the best designs in the entire iRacing community. You can't find them any better than this. The Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to get yours today. And race fans, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for coming on out today at Talladega. What a finish and what a barn burner for us to call. We wouldn't have any other way. We certainly hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys next time out.